Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tech Tutorials 2K21. So, I welcoming you all for the day 4 live session of C programming mastering classes. So, today our agenda is we have to know the concept of control structures in C programming language. So, we'll discuss about the introduction to control structures and we'll explore the syntax of a control structure. And we work with conditional statements, if else ladder, nested if and switch cases. So we'll start with the control structure introduction. So control structures in C programming language is used to control the flow of execution of the statements given in a program. So these control structures are used how the compiler is going to execute your statements, whether it is execute line by line or it will shift your control from one place to another place, so that everything in programming languages is controlled by the concept of control structures. So in C programming language, we have various types of control structures are available. So the first one is a sequential execution, that is a sequential statements, and second one is decision making or selection control statements, and the third one is an iterative statements. So today we'll focusing on first two categories like sequential control statements and decision or selection control statements. So I'll start with the sequential statements or a sequential execution. So in programming languages, when you write a code, so we provide a set of instructions. So now the compiler, it starts from the beginning and it is try to execute the program line by line from the beginning to end point it reach. So in a sequential control, the in a C program, the statements are executed sequentially. That is one after the another, the program from the beginning to end it is going to execute. So we can see this is a way how the sequential order the program is going to execute. Like we can have three statements in your program. So after the first statement execution, it is going to execute second, and after that it is going to execute third statement. So like this, it will execute the statements one by one from the beginning to end of the program. And after completion of the program, it is going to be terminated. So like this, in general, the program is executed in any programming languages. Suppose we want to change this flow of control, like we don't need to execute line by line and we want to execute the statements and we want to move our compiler from one positions to another positions is based on or without having any conditions, then these control structures, that is of your decision making or selection statements, is in place. So we'll move on to the decision making or selection control statements. So these control statements used in C programming language to make a decision. So depends on a condition given in a program. So there are two types of control statements. So one is conditional control statements and the second one is unconditional control statements. So as the name says, in a conditional control statements, so before it is going to execute the statements given in that block, it needs to check the condition. If satisfies the condition, then only that block of statement is going to be executed. Otherwise, it skip the statements. Whereas unconditional control statement, there is no conditions. We just using the statements to move from one place to another place. So we'll discuss in brief about all these things. So I'll start with the conditional control statements. So in conditional control, the execution of the statements depends upon the condition test. So if the condition is evaluates to true, then only a set of statements is executed. Otherwise, so another set of statements is to be followed for execution. So this control is also called as a decision control because it helps in making a decision about which set of statement is to be executed. So this is somewhat an extension for a sequential execution. So in sequential execution, there is no need of any conditions. We don't check anything. We just execute the line, each and every line of code from the beginning to end. Whereas in conditional control statements, so here we have to use some conditions and we have to check it that conditions. Based on that condition testing, so it is evaluated true, then we are moving the control to the block of statements. So in C programming language, so we have 5 different types of decision control statements or selection statements are available. So the first one is a simple if statement, and second one is if else, and third one is nested if else, fourth one is if else ladder, and the last one is switch case control structure. So we'll discuss in brief about each and everything, and we'll go through an example so that we can understand in a better way. So I'll start with simple if statement. So simple if statement is used to check a single condition and then we'll make a decision. So whatever the set of statements is given in that particular condition, that is going to be executed if the condition is evaluated as true. So this is a basic syntax for simple if statement. So the simple if statement is used whenever the programmer is needed only one condition to check and make a decision. So simply here if is a keyword. So for that if we need to provide a condition or an expression, and it will check whether that condition is true or false. Based on it will return a boolean value. So always the if condition will return a boolean value. So that is either it is true or false. So now if the condition is true, then the statements are executed. Otherwise these statements are skipped. So this is a flow graph for simple if statement. So after some statements in your program, so there will be an occurrence of your if condition. So it will check your condition or an expression. If it is true, then the set of statement which you provided under that block is going to be executed. Otherwise, it will skip this statement and your controller will move to the next statements provided after your conditional statement. So I'll go through an example. So this is my dev C++. So here I'm trying to create a project. So I'm trying to implement my console application. So here I provided example if. So here I'm providing an example for if. Okay. So now we have to take one program for understanding this simple if statement. So for this here I'm taking a program like will check the number is positive. Right? For that I'm going to write a program. So I'm reading the number from the user, and from that I'm using this condition. So depends on that condition I will make a statements to execute. So here I'm going to write a simple program. So I'm declaring a variable number because I want to check whether the given number is positive. So and after that I'm simply return a printf statement, enter a number. And then here a scanf statement. So here I need to read an integer. Simply I can use %d. This is a format specifier for an integer, and I am using an ampersand symbol, and I am passing my variable here number. So then I'll put semicolon here. So my reading is completed. So now I know the value of my variable number. So I pass to my control statement. So here if is a control statement. So here I need to provide my expression. So I need to check number is greater than 0. So we know that when a number is said to be positive, so if the value is provided by the user from the keyboard is more than 0, then we can say that is a positive number. So my question is here, we will check whether the number is positive. So simply I'll take this condition. So if that condition is true, so then I will provide a statement like the given number percentile D, because I'm taken an integer value, is positive. So I'm trying to print like this. So I want to take this value from number, because I'm trying to print whatever the number is provided by the user. I just retrieve and I'll tell this is a positive number. So semicolon. So and after that I want to show you the flow of this if statement. So after this condition I'll provide like printf statement. If statement is not executed, or else I'm provided like exit from if statement. Exit from if statement. Semicolon. So now how the compiler will start execution your C program? It always starts from the main function. So now this here is a statement like a declaration statement. So now the compiler will declare one variable and it will reserve 2 bytes of memory for this variable. And after that here is a printf statement. It is going to be displayed on your screen. And from this scanf statement it is trying to read the value provided by the user. And then here after retrieving that value, now that value is placed here and it will check with 0. So whether it is greater to 0 or not. If it is 0, then this control statement will return a value true. So when it returns true, this statement is going to execute. So otherwise, this statement is not executed and your compiler is execute this statement. Okay, so I'll try to compile and run this program. So now it will ask me enter a number. So here for the first case I'll provide a positive number. So it will give me, see, the given number 15 is positive. And irrespective of that statement, the remaining statements are executed. So that's what we learned right from the if statement. See here the condition is true. So once this condition is true, it can execute this block of statement and continue with the rest of statements in your program. If this condition fail, so then it becomes false. It doesn't execute this statement and it continue with the remaining statements of your program. So that's what your if statement will say. So I will show you the second case also. So if I provided 0 or something else, so now my statement under this if is not going to execute. So see here, I'll execute one more time. So now here I provided value as 0. So now you can see exit from if statement. So the statement which I provided under the if is not executed because the condition is fail. 0 is not greater than 0. Right? You can take a negative value also. You can check it that negative value case also. Like I'll compile and run this program again and here I provide a negative value minus 56. So now we can see exit from if statement. So the statement is not executed under the if statement because the condition failed. So this is a simple example for if. You can take any other examples like you can check whether the given number is even. Right? You can take any example for simple if. But the simple if statement is used whenever we want to check a single condition and depends on that we'll make a decision. So for if we can take only one decision. If condition true we made a decision. Otherwise we don't do anything. So that is a disadvantage of a simple if. Suppose see for example if I am not written any printf statement here. So see here I just remove this printf statement and again I run this program. So now you can observe that after I compile and run this program, now it will ask me for entering a number. So now see, so nothing is displayed on my monitor. So nothing is displayed on my monitor. So we cannot understand what's happening there. We written a program for the purpose, but that purpose is happened or not, we doesn't know without having a proper knowledge of using this control statements. So that is a disadvantage of if statement, and it doesn't make a decision if the condition failed. So in order to eliminate that, so we have the next level of control statements, that is if else statement. So the if else statement is a bidirectional control statement. So we can have two directions, like we can take a single condition and we'll made two decisions. Like here we can made it two decisions. If condition is true, we'll make one path of decision, and if condition is fail, and we'll make another path of decision. So for that we are going to use if else. So if else statement, simply we can say it is an extension for simple if statement. And here also we can check only one condition, and depends on that we'll made more than one condition. That is, we cannot say like more than one condition. Exactly we can make two decisions. So that is a correct statement for if else. So now see, this is a syntax for if else. So this is a syntax for if else. Simply we can use if, and under the if we are providing the test condition or expression. So if that condition is true, then this block of statements are executed. If condition fail, this block is not executed, it going to else case. So now see here, else is also a keyword. So like alternatively we have another block of statements. If condition is true, this block is going to execute. If condition fail, another block is going to execute. Right? So depends whether condition true or false, it is going to execute some set of statements in if else. So that is an advantage over simple if statement for an extension of your if else statement. So now I'll provide one more example for this. So now from this here I'm going to check whether the given number is even or not. Right? So for that I just simply change the logic, because you already know how you are going to read an input from the keyboard. So here I'll change. So the logic for finding whether the number is even or not, simply we can perform a modulus operation. We can take a number and we are trying to divide that number by 2. So now your result is 0 or the remainder is 0. Then simply we can say that is an even number. So for that here I am taking a number. So for that number I am performing a modulus operation, and I will check whether my result is 0. So if the result is 0, the given number percentile D is even. Right? It is a even number. Else, I just extend this if statement. So simply here I am going to write my else case. So in this, I'll write another set of code. So now if number is not even, it must be odd. So I can change this. It must be odd. So this is my if statement. If this condition is true, it will print like the number is even. If condition fail, it will print like the number is odd. So now here I am going to write one more statement after this if else. So here printf exit from if else statement. So this is, so I just run this program. So now you can see it will ask me for a number. So I just enter 56. So we all know 56 is divisible by 2 and we'll get the remainder as 0. So the expected answer is even. So now see, the given number 56 is even number, and exit from the if else statement. Suppose we want to take these two numbers, we can use a format specifiers like control character like \n, so which is going to return your statement after the next line. So I just execute for the second case. So now I am trying to give a odd number. So now see, the given number 79 is odd number. exit from if-else statement. So what your if-else statement will say? So it will take the condition. So this arrow will say some set of statements we executed, and after that we come up with a condition. So when this condition comes, so we will check if it is true, then one block of statements are executed. If it is false, the another block of statements are executed. So irrespective of true or false, the rest of statements in the program is going to execute with this statement or with this statement. So that is about if-else statement. So by this simple if and if-else statements, we can take only one condition, and depends on that we can make only one decision or two decisions. So whenever in your program, so there is a need of checking more than one condition to make a decision. So then there exist nested if statements. So the nested if statement is nothing but one if statement, it comes under another if statement. So we are nesting. So we are written one if statement another into another if statement. Then such set of statements are said to be nested if statements. So these nested if statements are used to check more than one condition to make a decision. So this is a syntax for nested if. See, here we have one condition. If this condition is true, then it is going to check the second condition. So if the first condition itself failed, it doesn't check any other condition, right? Directly it is going to execute the last else statements. So see how the flow, how this nested if statements are executed. So if condition 1 and 2 are true, then it is going to execute the statements 1. If the first condition is true and the second condition is false, it is going to execute statements 2. So if the first condition itself false, then it is going to execute statement 3. So this is a simple syntax for nested if. So we can use nesting of if statement depends on our requirements. Suppose if we want to make a decision depends on 3 if conditions. So we can include one more if condition under these 2 if conditions, but the flow will be same. So if first condition true, then only it will check for the second condition. If both conditions are true, then only it will check for the third condition, and depends on that it will make a decisions. So I will give you a simple example to illustrate this nested if. So in a real time, for example, suppose if I want to check whether the person is having first class or second class grade or third class or fail in any subject. So for that, I don't make a decision directly like without checking whether that person is passed in all subjects or not. So first what I need to check? I need to check whether that person is passed in all subjects. Then I need to check what will be the percentage of that person, and depend on that I will make a decision like whether that person comes under the first class, second class, third class or fail. So I am going to illustrate with that program. So for that I need to change all these statements, right? So here in my main function, so here is in my main function. So for making a decision, like I will take 3 subjects. So I can take like sub 1, comma, sub 2, comma, sub 3, semicolon. So I just took 3 subjects, subject 1, subject 2 and subject 3. I didn't mention any subject names. I can take only 3 subjects. So I am trying to read these 3 subject values from the user. So for that I am asking the user enter the marks for subject 1, comma, subject 2, comma, subject 3. So now I am asking the user for entering the marks for these 3 subjects, and now for single line I am trying to access all these things. I can write a single scanf statement and provided 3. So we can take instead of integer we can work with a floating point. We will try to work with that because we already have an idea how to work with integers already. So for floating point we can take percentile f, and here I need to take 3 floating point values. So because of that I can take 3 percentile f, and after that I separated with this format specifiers, and I'll provide the address of my 3 variables ampersand sub 1, comma, ampersand sub 2 comma ampersand sub 3 semicolon. So after reading the marks of 3 subjects, so now I will check whether these subjects means whether that person having the subjects is all subjects is getting more than 40 marks or not, because we all know the minimum pass mark is 40 marks. So even he got a large marks or else maximum marks in any of the subject, if he failed in one subject, it means that he failed in exam. So for that reason I am going to check that condition if subject 1 is greater than or equals to 40. So he or she need to get minimum 40 marks or more than 40 marks, then only I consider that person is passed. So then I need to check he need to pass all subjects. So for that I can use and, because the 3 condition it must be true, then only that person is passed. So that is my logic. So for that here I will take second subject, so which is greater than or equals to 40, and I'll make third subject which is greater than or equals to 40. So suppose if he passed in all subjects, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, then I am trying to calculate the percentage. So here I can take one more variable, because I need to find out the total and percentage, then only I can decide whether that person comes under which category. So for that I need to declare one more 2 variables before I am going to use. The first one is total and the second one is percentage. So these are 2 variables. So here I will take total. So how can I find out the total? So for summing of all these subjects. So if he doesn't pass any one of the subject, I need not to bother about what is his total and everything. So before when if condition met, then only I will find out my total and percentage, and later I am going to check with that percentage, and I will decide it that whether that person is comes under first, second or something like. So now here total equals to subject 1 plus subject 2 plus subject 3. So now I'm finding a total equals to summing of all these 3 subjects, and then here I'm going to find out the percentage. So I can find out the percentage by total divided by, so 300, because I consider each and every subject with like 100 marks. So then like this, and after that I need to multiply with 100. So now we'll get the percentage. So now here I am checking if the percentage is greater than or equals to 60. So if a person is secured, it's greater than or equals to 60 percentage. So that person I categorized as he secured first class. So he secured first class. So in my point of view, if that person is passed all subjects and he got a percentage of 60, if both conditions are true, then I'll make this person is comes under the first class. If else, so if this condition failed, So he can pass all subjects, but he doesn't secure like it's more than or equals to 60%. So I'll make that person is comes under the category of second class. So here I'm going to check like he secured second class. Sorry, here I need to write a condition. So not a printf statement. So here I need to write a condition and after that I'll make it up. So in if else, I will check percentage is less than to 60 and percentage is greater than or equals to 50. Then I consider this person under the second class. So simply by this I can write a printf statement. So here I need to write a printf statement. So he secured second class. So in else case, printf statement. So he is not getting the marks in between 50 to 60. So definitely he comes under the third category. So here I need to write one more else statement. So if the first condition itself fail, then what it will say? Like he failed. So simply this is a statement which I am going to print if condition becomes fail. Yes, I hope everything fine. So this if is closed here and this if else is here and else here and else here. So now we have a written zero statement. If so I just compile and run this program. So here I need to give an assignment operator. I forgot it. So if what it will say before else expected. So else doesn't go to check any condition. So I think here we have to write else if. Yes, now it is perfect. So I need to provide some subjects like 52.6 and then the second subject marks I'll given like first we'll go with the positive case like we can think like that person is passed in all subjects. So like this I'll took. So then I just click on enter. So he secured first class. So if we want to print the total and percentage also, then before going to this we want to do this. So then here we have to write a printf statements like printf the total is, if you are interested to take, then it is a percentile f. So I'm interested to take only two two digits after decimal places. So simply I can give percentile 2f, and then here I retrieve that value from total. So TOTAL semicolon. So if I am interested to print this percentage also, simply I can write printf, and here it is percentage. I'm provided colon here, and then I can take percentage also with only two digits. Simply I can give percentile 0.2f, and then I'll provided the variable as PER because it consists in the percentage. So now see, I just run this program. So now I'm going to check the second condition. So I'll give the first subject marks as 20, and second subject is 56, and third subject is 89 marks. So I'll provide it like this. So now you can see that person is failed because he failed in subject 1. Right? So this is an example for where we are going to use nested if statements. So these are the scenarios. So whenever we want to make a decision, depending on, we need to check more than one conditions to take a decision, then we are going to use this nested if statements. So see here how this is going to execute. So I'll give you the flow of this program. So see, we read 3 subject marks, and we will check each and every subject whether he secured more than 40 or not. If he secured more than 40, then only we are going to check the total. So now we are finding the last case. We observe that that person failed. He doesn't find out the total and percentage. So simply he said like failed. Right. So I will give you the another way. See, suppose if I provided like 45.0 and 40 point some 3 and then some 50.2. So like this I am given a marks. So now you can see the total is 135.50, percentage is 45 percentage. So because he is getting 45 percentage, he secured second class. Right? So now when you return a program, you have to go and check for all the possibility of cases. So your program is going to execute for all the possibility of cases. So this is a simple example for nested if. I hope you all can understand. So I'll move on to the next, that is if else ladder. So now we'll see the concept of if else ladder. So when it is required. So the if else ladder will work simply like a ladder. So suppose for example, if you take a ladder and you are trying to pick one object from a rack which is not directly available for you. So simply what we are going to do, we have to take a ladder and we are trying to climb step by step, and we are trying to find that object is to be reached or not. So the same way this if else ladder is going to do in your C programming language. So the if else ladder is going to execute the statements under that particular condition if the condition is met true. So see, when it stops execution, suppose if I climb 2 steps. So now I am trying to find whether my object is it is reached to me or not. If it is reached, I stop climbing. I can say like my object is I picked. So like this if else ladder is going to work here. So first it will check for the first condition. If this condition is true, it need not to check the rest of the statements. Simply it will print statement A and it exit from the if else ladder. If it is not condition true, so then what's happening? It go for if else statement. Second condition it is going to check as like your ladder climbing. So now if this condition is true, it is going to execute your statement B. So if both conditions are failed, then only it is going to check this condition 3. So then if condition is 3, then it is going to execute statement C. Else, if all these conditions are failed, so then we can execute statement D. So this is a flow of the if else ladder. So it will take the condition. If this condition is true, this statement is executed and the control is moved to the rest of the statements in your program. If condition fail, it is a false, then it's going to check your second condition. If this condition is true, it is execute your second block and it is continue with the rest of the program. So if this condition is also failed, then it is going to check your third condition. And then that block is going to execute and it is going to take the next statements to execute. If all these conditions fail, so then what's happening? So this statement is going to execute. That else part is given by this. So this is if else ladder. So I will show you an example so that you can understand. So simply we can say like if else. So I can take the example for this. So this is also an example for if else. See here. So or else we go with another example. So I'll take another example. So by this if else, I'll provide you a simple program. So here now I will check here whether the given number is positive, negative, or we can say like it is a positive number, negative number, or 0. So for that I am going to write a simple program. So I will take an integer and my variable is number. So I am trying to read these number from the keyboard so that I will ask the user enter a number. And after that I am using my scanf statements to read this number. So percentile D, because we know why we are using percentile D, because it is of an integer. So here I need to pass the address of the variable ampersand number. So then semicolon. So after reading my number, now it's my task to find whether that number is positive, negative, or 0. So for that I am going to use my if else ladder. So here I will check if number is greater than 0. So I can come up with 0 first. So first I will check if the number is 0. So if the number is 0, my answer is the given number is 0. So I will just print like the given number is 0. Okay, then I will take else if. So here I will write one more condition like number is greater than 0. So in my logic, if number is greater than 0, so I think that number is positive. So I can use so I said like the given number percentile D is positive. So here after this I'll provide it. I want to retrieve that value from the variable number. So that I'll provide it like this. So else if. So the number is less than 0. So here I am going to print the number is negative. So if the value is less than 0, simply it is negative. So I'll provide it here. Negative. So in else case, so I'll provide a statement like the entered value is not a number. Okay, so this is my else. So how this program is going to execute? Like it will take your number first from the keyboard and it will check whether that number is 0. So if that number is 0, simply it will print this statement and exit from the program. So it doesn't execute any other statements in your program because this condition met true. So if this condition fail, then it is going to check the second condition. So it will check whether the given number is greater to 0 or not. If it is greater to 0, then it will execute this program, this line of code and exit. Otherwise, it will check this else condition. If all these conditions are failed, then it is going to execute this condition. So I will run this program. So now see, it will ask me for number. So I will provide 85. So it will give me the given number 85 is positive. So I'll check for the other cases also. So like I'll provide the number is minus 63. So it will show me like the given number minus 63 is negative. Yes, it is working. So now I'll check the third case. Like I will take a number 0 and it will set like the given number is 0. Yes, fine. So now it will check the last case. So I'm trying to give a character instead of this. Oh. So in that case also it will print like this. So in else case the entered value is not a number. Okay. So if all these cases means it doesn't mean like it is not a 0 or something like that, then why that will be treated as a number? Okay. So now this is of if else ladder and we move on to switch case. So switch case is a selection statement which is available in your C programming language. So this is not like a decision making. So this is a choice. Suppose we go for a restaurant and we ask for a person to give some menu. So from that menu we can choose the items. So whatever the items you are choosing, and now the restaurant person is going to serve those items for you. So in your programming languages, whenever we have a multiple choices, from that choice you are going to make one thing, then we are going to use this switch case. Right? So that is a situation where we are going to use the switch case. So this is a syntax for switch case. So the switch case will consisting of three keywords it is going to use for implementation of switch case, that is switch, case and break. So whatever the choice you made and your restaurant person is going to serve only that item, right? So as the same way in switch, whatever the expression you are provided or the condition you are provided, if met that condition, so the respective case is going to execute. It doesn't execute all the cases. So the respective case is going to execute. And each and every case is terminated with break. So I will show you what's happening if you are not using a break statement properly in your switch case a little bit later. So now you can implement number of cases. So case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. Not only these numerical values, you can provide the characters and everything. So that is of your wish. So the case, it will take the constant value. So that constant, it may be of a character constant or it may be of a numerical constant. So we can implement n number of cases, and after that, if any case is not matched, then it is going to execute the default case. So because of that reason, we return a last statement as a default case. So this is a flow graph for switch case. Now you can see this is your switch and it is take your condition or expression. If it is matched with case 1, then it is going to execute your statement 1. So if it is matched with case 2, then it is going to execute statement 2. If it is matched with case n, then it is going to execute case n. Right? So if all the cases are not matched, then the default case is going to execute. Right? And it follows the rest of the statement provided in your program itself. So this is a switch case. So I am going to illustrate with a simple example the usage of switch case. So here from that switch case I am trying to perform a arithmetic operations. So like see, for that I am going to write a program here. So here I want to perform like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. and I need two variables. So for that I can take two variables like a comma b, and I need four variables for storing my result like sum, diff, product and div. So these are the variables are required for my program, and I ask the user for entering the values for a and b. So now simply I am asking enter the values for a and b. So semicolon, and after that by using scanf statement I am trying to read these things like percentile d because I want to read two integers, and then I'll put comma here, and here I need to pass the address of the variables, and my variables are a and b. I can pass ampersand a and ampersand b. So my part is completed. So now I want to make a choice from this addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So for that I can pass a value. So if case 1 I am going to execute addition, if case 2 I am going to execute subtraction, like that. So I will make int choice. So my choice is a variable which will take an integer value, and that is going to pass in my switch case. So here I need to implement my switch case. So simply I can use a keyword switch, and here I need to pass my choice because this is my condition. So whatever the choice I asked, so depends on that it is going to execute the cases. So now before you are passing, so we need to pass the choice, right? So for that I am asking the user enter a choice. Enter your choice. Okay, enter your choice. And then by scanf statement, so I can read this choice value percentile d. So and after that I can pass this to here. So now it's time to implement all my cases. So here I am going to implement my first case. So case 1. So like this you have to write, you don't combine case with a constant value because case is a keyword. So then case 1. So simply I need to perform sum. So sum is equals to a plus b. I performed here, and then I am trying to print this. So printf the sum is. So I will take an integer value, and that is come from a variable sum. So sum. Okay, sum. Then semicolon. And then I'll take a break. Semicolon. So this is my first case. So case 1. So when you have a multiple statements, so it is better to write within a block. So we didn't get confused. Semicolon. So I repeated for the same. For 3 cases, I just copy and paste it, and I'll make the changes inside of that. So for second case, for third case, and then for the fourth case. So I need to check the things. So this is subtraction. So 2, and here I need to use diff, diff. So I need to perform subtraction here. So minus, and here it is not sum, difference. And my answer is coming from a variable diff. So I think that is a variable I gave, right? diff. Yes, product and div. So now this is my third case. In this case I am going to find my product. So here I need to take that variable product equals to A multiplied with B. Here I need to provide multiplied with B, and this is product is percentile D. Then I will get from so your C is a case sensitive language, so we have to take care of providing the variables. So here this is case 4, so I need to perform a division, so I will provide simply like div, and then here my operation is division, so like this, and the division is percentile D div semicolon. So now it's time to write my default case. So in this default case, so suppose if user is not entering the values between this, so I just prompt him, please enter values between 1 to 4. So this is my aim. If that condition fail means it is not matched with the user things, then I can say something like this. So now default statement, it doesn't require any break statements. It doesn't require any break statements, and simply like this. So my program is completed. So before this, I need to write a return statement, return 0, because my main is integer. So I just compile and run this program, and it will ask me the values for A and B. I'll provide it like 45 and 6. Okay, 45 and some 89. And now I'll click on enter. It will ask me for choice. So I will give choice 2. So what my choice 2 will do? It will perform subtraction and it will give me the difference. So see. So it will ask me like A and B, and ask me the percentage. Okay. What's happening? Switch. CHOIC choice. Yes. Okay. So it doesn't read because I didn't provide an ampersand symbol, right? So that's what the mistake I made it. Okay. So now it is worked perfectly. We'll go through. So I'll just give any values like this, and then I'll provide 1. So now see, the sum is 57. So if I'm given my choice as 3, see, I'll provide 45 and 8, and my choice is 3. So it will give me the product. So the product is something like this. So if I entered a wrong choice, see, the default case is going to execute. So I just compile it, and I'll enter values for 45 and 89, and I'll give my choice as 5. So in my switch case, I had implemented only 4 cases, but I'm asking for the 5th case. So now that case is not available, so that the default case is executed. So please enter the value between 1 to 4. So that is a default case. So this is about conditional control statements in C programming language. So whereas in control statements, we have the another category, that is unconditional control statements. So these unconditional control statements, it allows your C compiler to move your control from one place to another place without checking any conditions. So that there are 3 unconditional control statements are available in C programming language. So one is break, second one is continue, and the third one is go to. So the break statement, just only we seen that like abnormally we want to terminate. So see, in a previous slide we just taken an examples for switch case. So what is switch case will do? So we have to take all the choices and we can move with that. But because of this break statement, it cannot go for case 2, case 3 and so on, case n. So it can execute only case 1. because of this break statement, it terminated from the entire switch case. So now it is going to uh, it is going to exit abnormally. So for that we are going to use a break statement. So we want to forcefully break the things. Suppose see we are implemented a loop for 10 times to run. So in middle of that we don't want to execute that loop for 10 times. We want to break it. So what simply we have to do, we can give some there some situation there, and it leads to your control is going to exit from that things. So in that case we can use this break statement. So I already illustrated the example for this, like we can use in a combination with switch case. So here the break is a keyword which is available in the list of 32 keywords of C programming language. So we can simply use that. So whereas the second one is continue. So continue is somewhat similar to a break and it can operate it in a reverse way. So if you go with something, and irrespective of the things, we can do some operations continuously. Even that condition failed, so we need to continue the things. So in that we are going to use this continue. So for that also we have to take a simple keyword like continue. So this will continue, right? So for that purpose we are going to use the continue, and the next thing is go to. So go to is a control structure, so which is move your controller from one place to another place without checking any condition. So now the syntax for go to is, we can use simply a go to keyword and we can provide a label. So this is simply a calling of go to statement. So now you have to provide the definition for your label before or after of your calling. So now here I provided label, and then here I provided some statements. So this is a syntax for go to. So now you can observe here, like this is my break, this is my go to statement. So here I just call my go to, so go to with some label, and this label I provided here. So now what's happening, when the compiler will reach this position, so it will just jumps to the label, the definition where it is provided. So now it is jumps from this place to this place, and it will execute all the statements is provided in your label. So in this you can observe that so these statements which are written in between your go to function, go to calling and the label definition, the middle statements are never going to execute in your program at least once. So because every time when your compiler will reach that go to statement, it jumps and it skips that statements which is provided in between, and it jumps to the label definition, and it is going to execute those statements under the go to statement. So whereas we can implement this go to before your function calling, go to calling. So for example, suppose see if so this is my label definition, and here I call my go to. So then what's happening? So this is your label. So before it is jumping to the label, it will execute the statements which you provided under the label once. And after that, when you are calling the statements, every time it go back and trying to execute the statements. Right, every time. So for that, this is calling a backward jump. So why? Because you are calling after the definition. So every time when you are calling this, it is always jump back to label definition. So this is a backward jumping. So whereas the previous is a forward jumping. So now you are calling your go to, and then you have provided your label definition. So for that, every time when you call, it is going to that particular label, and it is going to execute the statement provided under that particular label. So that is said to be a forward go to statement. Okay. So in forward go to statement, the statements between the go to calling and the go to definition, in middle the statements are skipped. Whereas in backward things, if you are not properly skipped from this label calling, right, if you are not properly skipped from this label calling, so then your things is going to infinite. Like every time when it comes to this place, and it is find out that okay, it is going to some label. Okay, again it get back and execute all these statements. Again this function call is there, again it get back. So like this it is going to be an infinite loop, so there will be a chance. So what we have to make, so we can give a proper termination, because the termination is must for anything. So we have to provide a proper termination, and we can implement like nesting of go-tos also. Like from one go-to we can implement, we can write one more go-to. So from one go-to statement we can call another go-to statement. So like that we can do. I just illustrate with a simple program so that you can understand better. For this go-to statement I'll try to illustrate with a simple program. So we'll see an example for simple go-to statement. I'll try to execute with a simple example. So now here, suppose so here I'll take one number. So number here I'll take one variable number. So then I will take a printf statement like enter number. So scanf. So simply I can read this percentile d, and then I just read this ampersand like number. I just read it, then semicolon, and after that here I simply return like go to. So go to is a keyword. I just call x. So here I'll provide a definition for y. I will show you like so first we'll go with the things. Suppose if I am written here a printf statements like hello, this is not go to statement. So something I just want to illustrate the things like that. I just simply return a statement like then semicolon, and then I'll provide a definition for this. So x. So you can use colon. So this is my label because I'll provided my label as x. So simply here I'm taken printf. So the given number is percentile d, and that number I can take from a variable number, semicolon. So I just go to execute this. So now it will ask me for a number. So I will enter so see their given number is 12, it will print. So if it is, you can observe that even I provided this printf statement, it is not executed at all. So this is about the unconditional control statements available in C programming language. So thank you so much for watching. So I hope you all understand.